I got some good news. The good news is the insurance came through and the caravan has been towed away to get repaired. Yay! It's been really exhausting and stressful, and I'm just really relieved that the insurance covered it all, and that the guys were able to come around and basically, temporarily weld it up so that it was able to be relocated to the workshop so that they could work on it. And they said it should take about 4 days, but they may need it for a bit longer, so it's a bit up in the air at the moment. So, but yeah, it's going to get fixed, and including all the extra damage that came, to light after the initial inspection. It's all covered. Everything's covered. So I just got to be patient and wait. How's it doing, Bexy? Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go walkies. I don't want to go too far away from camp. I might just sit on this random log here for a minute. I knew they were coming this morning to pick the caravan up around 8 o'clock. And yeah, once again, just couldn't sleep at all last night. I don't know, so much to do. I had to pack everything up. Like, I had to pack the whole caravan basically, because they're going to have to work inside some of the cupboards where it's separated from the floor, and there's quite a bit of damage inside that they have to repair. So that meant I had to clear out all the internal cupboards and all the bedding, and pretty much take as much as I could out of the caravan and then haul it with my trolley across to one of the cabins at the caravan park. They're going to take it away. The initial quote was, I think it was about $4,500 to repair the damage to the chassis. I had since found some more gaps between the wall and the floor underneath that we hadn't noticed when they first came and assessed it, so I'm hoping that there's not too much more, but the guy assures me that it's repairable, that it will be safe, because that was a big concern of mine. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't take too long. I'm in the cabins. Everyone's like, oh, you won't know yourself in the cabin, it'll be like luxury. No, it's actually torture to me, which is probably why I was so anxious last night, having to actually pack out of the thought of leaving my safe little caravan. Like, you have no idea, like, it's become such my haven of solitude and peace and my sanctuary for everything. And I walk into this brand new, cabin. These cabins have only come in, in the last year or so, so they've got the super bright fluorescent kind of lighting, and everything's all new smelling, plasticky kind of, what they use in new construction. Oh, here comes the caravan park manager now. I better go deal with that. He was going to meet me this morning so we could organise things with the cabin and stuff. So, but yeah, it's not my idea of luxury at all, except for the fact that I'll have my very own bathroom. That's a bonus. So anyway, I better go over there because he'll be waiting for me. So what's happening here is Simon is doing like a temporary weld up just so that they can hitch it up and tow it to the workshop to get it properly fixed. So this is a temporary job. There she goes. So far so good. This is my temporary home at the moment, this little cabin here right on the creek, which is really nice, and I am staying here while the repairer is working on my caravan. So I'll give you a little tour and show you the luxury I'm getting to live with for, I don't know, a week. Yeah, so right on the creek, as you can see, it's 2 bedrooms, and I'll show you around inside. I've brought my chairs and all my caravan stuff with me, my bicycle. There's the beautiful creek. which I've been fishing down there, which is kind of nice. And when you come inside, hi Pixie, what you doing? They don't have any lounge or anything in here, so I brought one of these chairs in as a sort of a comfy armchair. Full kitchen. I'm actually just cooking a roast in my crock pot at the moment on the slow cooker. It's so funny. The first night I was here, every time I wanted to wash the dishes, I kept reaching for the kettle, thinking I had to heat up the water in the kettle, completely forgetting that I have the luxury of hot water that comes out of a tap. So that's pretty fun. A full-size fridge with an actual freezer. That's pretty fun. Little table and chairs. Very strangely, oddly placed TV, which I guess you sit at the table and watch, which isn't very comfortable, which is why I brought in this one. But I don't really watch TV anyway. So having a bathroom, having my own private bathroom, bit of a luxury, huge big shower, which is really nice. And I really like this. It's got the window that looks to the outside, so you can see what the weather is doing without having to open any curtains inside, you know, when you want a bit of privacy. So that's kind of, I've obviously brought my table. So because they were going to be working on the inside of the caravan as well, I pretty much had to empty everything out of the caravan. This is the second bedroom with all my crap just dumped in there. It's got bunk beds, more of my crap, my fishing rod. Unfortunately, all these super bright lights. I don't know why people put super bright lights, like all the lights in this are like. So yeah, I've been using the exhaust fan little light and the light in the bathroom because it's a warmer light. And I did bring my little bedside caravan lamp, which has a nice warm glow. I brought all my own bedding. Just put my clothes down there. Pixie has her little corner here. I put all blankets down so she wouldn't get any hair onto the carpet. It feels weird. The bed is not nearly as comfortable as my bed in my caravan. It's just the convenience of having everything I need in places where I know where it's at. And, you know, it was quite funny having to pack everything up to come here and, you know, trying to think like, what am I going to need and what can I leave in the van and, what, you know, it was just, I don't usually have to think about things like that. Like, have you got your toothbrush? Have you got the hairbrush? Have you got, you know, dog food? And I don't know, it was just weird. It's really not that much difference. I could probably live in a little place like this, but there's no storage. It's funny, there's more space. And I'm enjoying the space, but Pixie's loving it because she can run up and down and with her toys. But I realized that my little tiny caravan has way more storage space than this cabin. Like, there's no cupboards anywhere. There's nowhere to put anything. And I'm a real tidy person. Like, I just like things to be put away and not be like, you know, having my clothes just stacked in a pile and a laundry basket down beside the bed there. All there is this one tiny little bedside drawers there. No wardrobes, no linen cupboard. There's no like counter space in the bathroom, so you can't put your makeup or anything, you know, your clothes when you have a shower. I've actually brought one of the dining chairs from here into the bathroom so that I can just use that as like surface area. So yeah, it's funny, you know, you compare it and you think, oh, wow, it's actually, I feel like better equipped and more functionality and practicality in my little tiny caravan. So I'm really stoked that that the caravan is going to be repaired. I haven't heard from them yet, but the fact that the insurance came through and covered that is just, yeah, it's a huge relief because it's been really quite upsetting to me, and even more so now that I had started looking at alternatives and places to rent. There was a little flat here to rent for $185 a week, but again, no storage or anything, you know, and I'd probably still have to pay because I couldn't get rid of my caravan. I'll always want to keep it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It was just, I'd have to pay for storage shed. I'd still have to pay for storage for the caravan, and the parking situation was, you know, right on the street opposite a school. I'm kind of like, would I feel safe with my truck there? Probably not. When I look at other alternatives, I just keep coming back to the fact that I really love my caravan home so much, and the fact that it is my safe space and has been my nurturing safe space for this, what, 4.5 years. It's been a real time of inner seeking, reflection, and a lot of processing stuff going on. And amongst the traveling and exploring, it was also a lot of traveling and exploring the depths of my own psyche, you know, and I guess that was just part of what I needed to do, and why that place will always feel like it's part of me. It's not just my home, it's my shell, you know, it's my snail shell. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting it back. I think about things like this, like I look at this little cabin and I think one day I could buy a block of land somewhere, live in my caravan until I could afford to buy something like this, like a little cabin like this would be fine for me. Obviously I'd do things my way, I'd put cupboards in it, and as far as decking it out, I'd do that a bit differently. But the size of this would be pretty ideal, and the veranda and everything. I could probably get into a house a lot cheaper that way if I could do something like that. I don't know how much these cabins cost to put on a block, but you know, there's things I think about for the future, and obviously security and some type of permanent address would be great. The other thing I found out from Centerlink when I told them that I'd moved back here into the caravan park here, they give you rent assistance if you're traveling around in a caravan. They'll give you rent assistance based on whatever receipts you upload to them every 2 weeks. I'll work it out how much rent assistance to get. But they've changed the rules, and now the only way you can get rent assistance if you live in a caravan is if you get a rent certificate mailed to you at the address that you're claiming rent assistance for. Get the manager of the caravan park to fill it out, sign it, and post it back in, and then they will pay you. So in other words, they're only paying you if you have permanent sites now. That's pretty mean, Centerlink. Like, there's more people than ever, like in my situation, living in caravans because it's all we can afford. We're already at the very bottom end of the, you know, the income bracket spectrum, and can't afford actual houses to get. So people who can afford actual houses can get maximum rent assistance, but people who can't afford actual houses and are living in caravan parks but are still paying caravan park fees, sometimes which are more, a lot more, like $50, $60 a night I was paying down the coast on the way here, $300 and something a week. I didn't get any rent assistance for that. I thought I would, because I uploaded the receipts all the time and thought that they would reimburse me the difference of the maximum rent assistance for that, but they didn't. They'll only do it for here because I'm here, you know, for at least a couple of months. So yeah, if you're on the move now, if you're nomadic, and I explained to them, I said, but there's a 57-day limit here. What happens after the 57 days? I have to leave. And say if I go somewhere for another week or two, like no caravan park's going to fill out a rent certificate for a couple of weeks, even a month, like, and I've got to do that again every time I move from one place back and forth. Like, the government's going to be saving themselves a lot of money, but I think they're penalising the people that need it the most, and I think that's pretty unfair. And I will be writing into the media and to discuss this issue, because I think it's one of those little sneaky things that's just happened. I didn't know it had happened. I had actually asked Centerlink, like when I was on the road, I said, how does it work with rent assistance? They said, oh, as long as you just upload your receipts, you'll be fine. You know, they know that people are on the move in caravans, and so that's the way they had it. And then, yeah, she told me, this was like yesterday, I was on the phone to her, and she said, yeah, they've changed the rules. So quietly, without anyone noticing it, a whole bunch of people forced into being nomads, despite their best efforts to try and find a permanent place, will be the ones that are penalised, as far as you know, the difference between what you get. I mean, I think I was getting an extra When I was in Mullaney, I was paying $150 a week camping, and I was getting, I think, about $130 a fortnight, something like that, extra in my disability pension for rent assistance. If you don't have permanent housing, they're not going to help you out with the cost of housing. Like, we're still paying for housing. It's just that the cost that we pay it to varies from place to place. It's just not fair. Anyway, I don't want to whinge about that to you guys. I'm happy. I've got lots of reasons to celebrate because the caravan is going to be fixed. He assures me it's going to be safe and reliable, and I really don't know how I'm going to swing things from now on. There's a lot of been thinking going on, and but yeah, the insurance covered the cost of this cabin, which is good because it's $150 a night. Now you understand why caravan parks aren't allowing permanents to come in. Every time a permanent leaves, places that have permanents, like old caravan permanent sites, they knock down, they die, they move on or whatever. Caravan parks are bringing in these cabins because they can get $150 a night rather than, say, $150 a week for a permanent resident. So unfortunately, this is the way of caravan parks all across Australia. And yeah, I would never be able to afford this. I did actually have to pay it up front, and then, you know, I'll get reimbursed. But so it was quite a challenge for me trying to work out the timing of when the caravan would go in to get repaired, when the cabins were available, and when I would have enough money. I had to wait until my pension came in, bam, so that I could have the amount to pay for the whole week up front, and just basically been living on, you know, rice and beans and totally blowing my diet just to get me through. And yeah, but anyway, anxiously awaiting news of my little home repair, and I will keep you posted. This little town is pretty much my favourite place. I know it seems really strange. People might not understand why I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. But I don't know, something about that creek, the little oasis of it, these trees, the weather, it's amazing, it's dry, there's no humidity ever, it's fantastic. It's quiet, there's no traffic ever. Just for my brain and my senses, it's just a very soothing balm. It truly is an oasis in the middle of this otherwise very dry place. And on the other side is just wide open, flat spaces far as the eye could see in all directions. So it makes for some pretty spectacular sunsets. It's just a beautiful place. The light, it's just amazing. I love it. Every time I do this walk, every time, I love it. I love everything about it. And I love how peaceful it is, and the fact that I'm the only one ever walking this path, and yeah, it's absolutely so beautiful. Sometimes I see wallabies in here in the scrubby part. You got to really look, because the wallabies are grey. They're like a light grey colour, sometimes even black. They really blend into these trees. When they stand completely still, you really have to really look, because you're not sure if it's a wallaby or if it's a tree. Can't see any today, but I'll keep looking. Another really cool thing about this area is there's actually not that many snakes. I know it looks kind of scrubby, like you'd imagine that there'd be snakes, but I've never seen a snake here. I'm sure they're probably around. I'll keep an eye out. I'll let you know if that changes.